Good morning and welcome to another video with a guy and his projects. We've got another one on the truck. This truck was neglected for a very long time. It's got very high mileage, somewhere about 290, 300,000 I'm guessing. Don't know. Dash was either replaced or the odometer rolled back. I think it was the odometer rolled back because the numbers are all wicky-wacky. Anyway, so it was neglected for a while. I think it sat for quite a long time as well. And so we're catching it up. We're almost there. We're almost to the point where I trust this to take me a long way from home and not have to tow it back, which is ultimately the goal for me. I don't want to not trust a vehicle. So this is a 2001 Ford F-250. It's the Triton V10 engine, 6.8 liter, 4x4. Got it on 35-inch tires with these Road 1 Calvary MTs. Check out that video. I do a review on them. I also put balance beads in there and do a review on that, so check those out. Got plenty of videos on this truck. Like I said, it's been neglected, and we are getting it back up to par. So today we are doing the fan clutch / fan blades assembly. I got the Ford Direct replacement. I'll link it in the description below, as well as the Ford Direct replacement OEM fan clutch. I'll also link down below. And then once we're done with that, I'm going to do another video on the tie rods on this truck. All today. Not the same video, but all today. So stay tuned. Check out my channel for a whole playlist on this truck and others like it. And really not much more to be said. I am going to attempt, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to attempt to get this blade and clutch out without removing the shroud. If we need to remove the shroud, I will. It looks like it's only 2 bolts from what I can tell. But I'm going to try and do it without, because removing the shroud is always a pain in the butt. Even if it's only 2 bolts, you still have to take out the reservoir. So I'm going to attempt without removing the shroud. If we remove the shroud, we remove the shroud. Not a big deal. I'm just trying to be lazy. And show you the lazy way too. Only other thing I want to hit on before we get started is I am not a mechanic. I don't hire out, so if you comment down below asking me to do your job, I'm not going to do it. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not authorized in any sort of schooling, professional way to work on other people's vehicles, to accept money for working on other people's vehicles. I have no professional experience. I have no professional training. The only thing I know about cars is what I have experienced and done. I like to look at things. I like to figure things out. I like to fix things. That's all I know about cars. I'm not a diagnostic mechanic. If you comment, hey, my truck's making this rattling noise inside the engine, I want to say, well, good luck. Okay, so what I do. It's not because it's the way you're supposed to do it. It's not because I read a book and found the way you're supposed to do it. It's because I did what you're doing. I watched a couple videos and I'm going with it. Or I read the service manual and I'm going with it. Or, like this, I'm just looking at it and I'm going to go with it, okay? I haven't read the service manual. I haven't even watched a YouTube video on how to do this. This is what I do. I just figure things out, okay? So, if you copy me, it may work, it may not. What I do will work, because I'm getting this thing out of the garage. It's not going to sit in here for the rest of the life. So that's where I'm at, guys. Let's get started. We're going to get started at the coolant reservoir. There's just 3 little bolts holding it together. You got 1 over here on the, in front of the reservoir. And then you have 2 over by the battery tray holding it down. You're going to remove all 3 and put them somewhere where you are going to be able to find them again later. Important step, don't forget that. With the hose attached to the back of the reservoir and the bottom, you can only push this out of the way so far, but you don't need it too far out of the way, so wherever you can get it. We're going to take a hose off later. At this point I was trying to get the shroud off without disassembling everything. You're going to have to remove your serpentine belt from the fan pulley, so go ahead and do that with the tensioner. Grab your 1/2-inch drive or your serpentine belt removal tool and slide the belt right off of that pulley. And then remove your tool out of the way. Then you're going to go ahead and just pull your belt up off the alternator and power steering pump just to get it out of your way. Alright, so now I am using a chain style vice grip.
I recommend this. This is an awesome tool. It worked out great. There's some other variations people talk about using some other tools, universal tools. I actually bought a universal tool and it turned out to not fit, so not everything is as universal as they say. But the only thing with the chain vice grip right here is it was kind of aggravating trying to get it set just right. You have to have it tight enough that it actually grips, and being that it is a smooth surface, that is semi-difficult, but not so tight that you collapse the pulley. So it took a couple tries. Just be patient, you'll get it. Once you're nice and tight, you can move on to the next step. I used a pipe wrench. I think this is like a 18-inch or 12-inch pipe wrench, but whatever you have handy. And you're just going to go ahead and put that on the shaft of the clutch and bust it loose. And like I said, it was somewhat frustrating with the vice grips because you have to get it just so that it doesn't pop off like it just did. Once you get all that situated, go ahead and get your pipe wrench back on place. And this was super torqued down. I was actually starting to worry that it was reverse threaded, but it turns out it is correct. Lefty loosey. Just get yourself some leverage and hammer on it with your palm impact style, just like so, and pow, it pops off. Well, not off, but pops loose, I should say. Alright, so now that it's loose, you can go ahead and just start working it off little by little. There's not a lot of room to work, so you're doing quarter turns at a time. Just be patient, you'll get there, and eventually it'll pop off just like so. There's your fan. I did try to get this out without removing the shroud. It did not work, so to remove the shroud, you could just do this earlier if you wanted to. Pop off the reservoir upper hose and not the lower. That'll make a mess. And then your upper coolant hose as well. Again, this is going to spill some coolant. Make sure you have a tray down below to catch it. We just removed the clamp, popped it off, and wiggled that hose right on out. That Hulk-like fluid just flows out. Like I said, I do have a drip pan back there, but I missed, of course. And I got my concrete all coolanty again. The shroud is actually pretty easy to come out as far as shrouds go. It's just 2 bolts, one on the left, one on the right. Very easy actually compared to like my Nissan Frontier. That was a huge pain in the ass. They on the Frontier, they made the shroud a one-piece shroud and it was all tied in with everything else, and it was a pain in the butt. But anywho, there is your clutch and fan assembly. So if you are keeping your fan blades, go ahead and do this. If you are replacing the whole thing, you'll still need the bolts. So either way, I guess you're going to take the bolts off, except for in my case, I found out that these bolts on the old clutch and fan assembly did not fit my new clutch and fan assembly, which was very frustrating, and I did not realize that I had, well, yeah, I had to go to the hardware store and I had no plans to do so. And that's what you can see right there. I went to Ace Hardware, not sponsored. And that's only like $4 worth of hardware anyway, because I bought way more than I needed because it's a 25-minute drive each way for me. So anytime I go to the hardware store mid-project, I buy way more than I need. So anyway, now that you have the right size bolts, go ahead and put those on. If you're lucky and your old ones work, then you can skip that whole entire hardware store run. I do not know the torque specs, but put all 4 of them back on, and there is your new assembly. Slide it back into the shroud in front of the radiator. Do be careful with your radiator, by the way, here. You don't want to pop any holes or crush the fins. A little bit aggravating because you're working against the awkward weight of the fan and clutch, but go ahead and get it threaded back in. Wasn't too hard, and this is a lot of threads. You're going to want to tighten it down. Again, I don't know torque specs, but make sure you tighten it down good. The shroud we're just going to put back in right now so it's not flopping around on me and making me very annoyed. Again, one bolt on the left, one bolt on the right. And now we're just going to passively thread that clutch back on. Once that's as far as it goes, keep in mind you still have your vice grip chains on that pulley to keep it from moving because you need to tighten it now. Again, righty tighty, lefty loosey. I can remember that half the time. And just impact it with your palm back on until you can't go no more. As indicated right here, I'm yanking on it and it ain't going anymore. So there you go. You can remove your vice grip chain plier things. Give her a couple spins, make sure you didn't damage that pulley. It should still be smooth or it will make noise with your belt. Or worse, throw your belt off. Alright, so now you're threading your belt back into place. Put it around your power steering pump down there on the right, which we do have a video of, by the way. Check it out. It might not be posted yet. I haven't edited it yet as of this point, but we did replace the power steering pump and took a video. I haven't even looked at the footage to see if it turned out, but check it out either way. Go ahead and pull that tensioner down, and you're going to loop your belt back up over the alternator. Just like so. Make sure everything looks good and aligned. Put your coolant hose back on. Doesn't really matter if you do this one first or the reservoir. Just like so. And then your reservoir. Pop it in. Don't forget your clamp. Voila. And your 3 bolts. One right here and 2 over by the battery tray. Tighten them all down to your manufacturer specifications, whatever those might happen to be. For me, they're about yay tight. Alright, fill up your coolant tank. Make sure you burp your system. All I really needed to do was burp that upper radiator hose. I didn't show it because I didn't need to. And we're ready to start the truck up. Look at that, she's purty. No wobble, no wiggle, no wabble. And I use this little paper towel just to show that 1, it's blowing the right direction, and 2, it is powerful compared to the old one. I should have done it before of the old one as well, but oh well, I missed it.
Alright guys, we just replaced the fan and the fan clutch on this 2001 F250 V10. Easy job we did. I know I did try to get the assembly out without removing the shroud. Not happening. Gotta remove the shroud, but it's super simple, okay? 3 bolts on the reservoir, the coolant reservoir. Pull the hose off so you can get out of your way. You don't have to drain the reservoir like the Haynes manual is going to tell you, okay? Remove the upper radiator hose off of the top of the radiator, not the thermostat housing, the actual radiator. You are going to spill some fluid, but it's not a lot, probably a quart's worth, give or take, maybe a little bit more. So you pull that hose off, 2 bolts on the shroud, and then everything can come right out. I used a chain vice grip on the water pump pulley to hold it still while I busted loose the fan clutch. A lot of people, there's a lot of different tricks online that you can use. You can use like an impact, you can use a tool, impact it and pop it. For me, the chain, I like that idea the best. I'll link one of those tools down below in case you want to use it yourself. And anyway, super easy job. You saw by the little paper towel, I should have done that before I replaced it as well. But the old fan clutch, when sitting here at idle, it would spin. I mean, for sure it would spin, but there's no power to it. There's no gumption. There was no, ooh, I'm alive. It was just, whee. So now with this one, you saw me start it up and it's like a dinosaur. So a lot more gumption, a lot more guts to this clutch. So the old one was probably old, worn out, I don't know, but this one definitely seems to be making a big difference compared to the last one. Easy job. If you want to check out more videos on this truck, be sure to visit my channel in the playlist titled F250 or whatever the heck it's titled, I don't even remember.
We've got some upgrades, we've got repairs, we've got tie rods, we've got mirrors, we've got tires and balance beads, we've got, thermostat, we've got AC system replacement, we got power steering, we got all kinds of projects on this truck. Even put in a bed mat and did a review on that, as silly as it might sound. When I'm shopping, no matter how silly the purchase, it's a purchase, and I look at reviews. So I did a review on a bed mat. At this point today, it's not posted, but I'll probably post it before I post this one. So if it's not here, subscribe so you can watch it when it comes up. Hit that notification so you know when it comes up. And if you like this video, if it helped you, leave me a thumbs up if you could. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.